Hello everyone, and welcome to Passion Vines TV. I'm your host, Michael Bray, and today I'm with our whiskey expert, Dave Baldwin. For those of you who know, we've been really putting together an incredible whiskey program over the past, I would say, 6 to 8 months. And it's quickly becoming one of the most competitive and respected whiskey experiences in South Jersey. And today we welcome you into my office for a little desk side tasting, which we do often in terms of just, whether it be new products, for refamiliarizing ourselves with existing products, or if we're planning a tasting. So this happens a lot, but today you're in here with us. So Dave, welcome.
Thank you.
And we have with us today two whiskeys. One made by Compass Box and the other Talisker, and Dave is going to walk us through these two and point out some good stuff.
All right. So I guess we'll start with Islay, made by Compass Box. It is a blended Scotch whiskey, so what that means is it's going to be a combination of different distilleries. A lot of times you hear the word single malt thrown around with whiskey, with Scotch especially. And all that really means is single means to come from one place, and malt means that it's barley. This particular bottle, being a blended Scotch, is actually a combination of different distillery juices, as we like to say, barley and other grains as well. It's blended Scotch, so it's got barley in there, but it's also got some other grains like wheat, corn, that sort of thing. So I guess some things you could expect to find in this bottle. Because it's a combination, you're going to get some complexity with flavors. You can see the color's real light. A lot of that color comes from its maturation. All the colors actually going to come from maturation, but sometimes distillers might like to use caramel coloring to kind of enhance a little bit or even out some colors. Compass Box has decided to cut out all that caramel coloring, so that's natural color you have there from the casks. So
real quick clarification. Sure. So caramel coloring is almost. Is it considered to be a manipulation of the whiskey to be a more desirable color?
Yeah, sometimes it kind of gets a bad rap in some cases. There's a function for it. It certainly gives an even product, something people can come and expect to find when they buy that particular bottle. But at the same time, you are adding something to a whiskey, which wasn't there or meant to be there in the first place. So there's positives and negatives to both sides. So in this case, we have no caramel coloring, natural color right out of the casks. Even though those casks are from different sources. So what we have is two main sources for this, one of which is Longmorn, which is a Speyside distillery. You're going to get, where most of its body is going to come from that. And the other is from the town of Aunus, which is actually just outside of Tain, which is where you have Glenmorangie. So fans of Glenmorangie, you're going to get a very similar style with this real light, thin as opposed to heavy and oppressive that a lot of your Speysides can be. So it kind of cuts through some of that Longmorn body, giving it a good mixture. And then of course the grain whiskey is not as prominent as it would be in other blends. Typically a blend like, let's say, Dewar's or Johnnie Walker is not going to have a real high proportion of malt. There's going to be a lot of those other corn and wheat whiskeys thrown in there. But Compass Box chooses to use over 50% malt, which is again something you don't find in a lot of blends. Cool. So, in a nutshell, what we should get is a real light whiskey. A little floral, a little sweet. Certainly get some vanilla. Definitely a good whiskey for fans of Irish whiskey.
Sure.
Definitely a jumping point if you're not really too sure about Scotch or want to get into Scotch, you're not sure where to start. This would be a great one. Okay. Definitely a good bridge into what Scotch.
So Irish whiskey drinkers.
Definitely.
Take a taste. Okay.
Would love to check this one out.
Cool.
So that's Islay.
Very good. Okay, so now we put Islay aside, and we welcome in Talisker. So this is Talisker 10-year. So so as a shopper, what am I looking for? You said over here Irish whiskey.
Yeah.
Would be a good bridge and jump off into experiencing the Islay. Who's buying Talisker?
So a lot of us out there, especially Scotch drinkers, have had Johnnie Walker. Johnnie Walker has a lot of Talisker in it. It's where it gets a lot of its smoke, which is one of the flavors that people tend to go back to Johnnie Walker for, is that smokiness. Okay. And it's getting pretty much all of that smoke from Talisker. So it's one thing that Talisker does really well. It is situated on an island, not to be confused with the region of Islay, which is where you get a lot of real prominent smoky whiskeys. This one is an island to the north. It's still considered part of the Highlands technically, although unofficially they're sort of spread out into a region called the Islands, which includes Talisker on the Isle of Skye, which is where it's located. Whiskeys like Highland Park, Jura, Arran, those kind of things, kind of lump that into a region called the Islands. So what you're going to end up getting is a little bit of citrus. It is kind of covered by that smoke, which can be pretty intense if you're not used to experiencing that flavor. But if you can dig past it, you can definitely get a little bit of citrus. There's some bourbon and sherry influence in this, but not too heavy, not like your Speysides. And really, again, I can't emphasize the smoke enough. It's
sure.
The king of smoke.
Sure, absolutely. So, okay.
Definitely smell it on the nose. A lot of times, people will find some salt or sea flavors because it's being aged on the sea, against the sea. So they'll end up confusing those with the peat. But as you try different ones, you can sort of separate those ideas out.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's amazing how you can almost, it's one thing to smell the smoke, but you can actually taste it. Yeah. I mean, this just covers your palate.
It's like standing over a campfire.
Yeah, absolutely. The campfire scotch.
And drinking it in.
Right, no doubt about it. So, very cool. Okay, so welcome again to our little desk side tasting. Thanks for joining us. You can get all of this and so much more every Wednesday at Passion Vines Summers Point for Whiskey Wednesday, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., where you can talk with this guy until you somehow stump him, which I don't believe you will, but give it a shot, all right? Again, Michael Bray from Passion Vines TV and Dave Baldwin, our whiskey expert. We'll see you next time. Later.